It's 8:00 in the morning. It's about an hour and a half. I'll come back to show you. How terrible is its appetite? This vegetable, I just put this cassava at about the same level. 10 minutes, guys. It also eats A. You're all dead. Look at the strength of the crickets. You can see is it as strong as it is. The cleverness of crickets. It's running a fence on its face. This proves that the health of the crickets is very healthy. The uniformity of this barn cricket. I think it's pretty good too. You guys, for this stage, I'll have some notes for you. This note will be, it's not just growing in styrofoam. All kinds of boxes. You've got plastic and alu and built it. Cement tanka. Then we all have to apply the same technique. Hey, at this stage, milk crickets are about 30 days old or older. Then you need to keep in mind that we cut off the water. Cut water for crickets. In case you spray it, you spray into the cage. Like with me. Stop spray from the 12-day-old period. We use this water pipe for easy drinking. So there's only knife feeding. And use this hose, guys. And spray. If the sun is too hot, we can spray it at noon, but spray it on cassava leaves. Direct spraying to the blister, because spray it on the blister, it'll dampen the mold, and it's very easy to make crickets sick. You need to pay attention, and especially at this stage, the barn got to make the SAO that it's open. Dryness. That's us. Let's see. I saw him spray water on his crickets and drink a lot. The ham is just spraying to the stage where it's about to take off. It's falling. It's dying. Well, yesterday, there's a guy in the lake. You also have the condition that the cricket is on the wing, more or less. It's about 3 to 5 days old. He fell down on the wing and died a lot. Well, the reason could be mold in the cage. And then it gets a fungus, or it gets water. Much from the stage where it's milked like this. Hey, there's no water cut or leaf lay that we go on a rainy day that it eats. For a few days, it rains again. Then the chances that the cricket is very high. The crab's food at this stage is very strong. We have to do something. Provide enough food for it during this period. It's going to break the barn. It's very powerful. Like me at this stage, there is almost always food in the temple. Here you see this. Hold it up like this, and it doesn't run. That's its appetite. It's eating very hard. Here, wake up, guys. That's it. In general, this stage is the stage. We just need to pay attention to the water problem. The rest of the food we're trying to provide is enough. There's enough, especially in the afternoon. We need to replenish for it so many of you. Let him eat at night. It is not missing, but if, that the evening, we don't have enough food for him, it's going to bite this blister. In your case, to be raised with plastic, it's going to bite this plastic. If you feed it on a sponge, it's going to bite through the big sponge, these little ones. And the ones that are peeling off, it will also be eaten by other crickets. Some notes like that. The problem with food is that you have to. It is very important to pay attention to the stage where the cricket. I'm going up the wing like this. I think this cage is about 3 degrees. It's going to start flying in for days. You milk crickets. It's not very even, probably about 1 degree. It'll all be up in 2 days. What you see is, some have reached full milk size, like this one. Here you are like this one, and this one too. It will reach full size in about a day. It is almost full size. There are others like this one. Like this one, it has not reached the full size of this cage. This size is quite a lot. It will reach full size under milk in about 2 days. And if it eats for another 3 days, it's going to, just under the wing. The stage on your wings, One is that we're going to harvest the milk crickets. Milk crickets let us do that food. Frozen milk crickets for sale for restaurants. And you're on the wing. You have to keep in mind the density of crickets in the cage, like this sponge barrel. If we're going to get on the wing, we have to get apart. Because you look at this density of crickets, it's extremely crowded. It's extremely crowded, guys. But this isn't just crowded on each side. Down there. It's down a little there, dark, but it's also very crowded. So you have to separate. If the density is like this, we put it on the wing, it will be lost. They ate each other. It won't hold your child's head. So that's also a note for you. If any of you have, do you intend to leave the same? Then we have to measure the number of crickets in the cage. You can squeeze as much milk crickets as you want. A cage can be, for example, 1 square meter kilograms of milk is still okay. For crickets that go up on that wing cricket, we've got about 5 to 7 kilos. 1 square meter, you're on the wing cricket. That's just right. And the observation experience to be the SAO that we know that it is. Thick or thin, or that's 7 kilos or 5 kilos or 7 kilos or 10 kilos. Of course, we have to feed, then we watch. It's a standard. I said it's a theory. As I observed, like this cage, guys, at first glance, it's almost as if it had to overlap in order for it to ate and drank. If you work, you'll find it extremely thick, like this area. I count 4 years, in which an area is almost. They're standing close together. Then we'll see that the density of crickets, even though it's this size, it's not quite that big. What about milk crickets, guys? If you reach the largest size of milk crickets, it has to be kids like this. These are kids like this. This is also called a near miss. 8 or 9 isn't 10 somewhere like here. There's a lot of these. This one just needs a day to go up. This one, guys, 2 or 3 days from now. It's bigger than this one. I mean, for this stage. It should not reach largest size. The density of crickets, as you can see, is very high. It has time for it to get bigger. Full size under milk, it will be extremely crowded. It's incredibly cramped in this space. Like this cage, size A, it's 5 times 50 centimeters multiplied by 70 centimeters. So let's say it's only about 0.4 square meter, guys. The last 0.4 square meter I dropped here. If you've been watching since the time, he has been a small boy ever since. A few days old until now, you will see. So we have to pay attention to the density down in the cage. Are we going to harvest consumer crickets, or are we going to let it reproduce? This cage is my first. It's in your foam tank that it reaches. It's terrible. It's almost as if the cricket wasn't lost for a while. I'll clean the barn once this afternoon. That's right. At this stage, if you pay attention, give birth to crickets. To reproduce, then you have to clear the cage. At this stage is the cricket. It's not on the wing yet. Let's move out. Clean up this phase. It's a new thing. It's not a passive cage. It's time for it to wiggle its wings. Clean the barn. Is that we're going to freeze the cages of many to die. At this stage, the crickets had eaten hard a few days ago. And now the amount of fecal matter, it's quite a lot down there. I will clean this afternoon. It's healthier when you put it in this sponge. Clean up in a box. There are many other materials. I will clean this afternoon. Let you imagine the amount. How much does its feces expel? At this stage, it's because it eats a lot of green vegetables, and its shit is high in moisture, and it's very hot. That cricket shit is hot, guys. So it's the dung layer down there. That's a lot of it. Very hot. As I said at the beginning of the video, at this stage, it is necessary. Air as well as. It's dry in the barn to put it on the wing. If a cricket gets on its wings, it's going to need your dryness. The sponge too. There's not enough food on the wings. Or something like that. Afraid it will bite. Guys, I'll try it out. To see if it bit the barrel. If we bite the barrel, we have to make your own crickets for you. Every time a cricket gets to this size, we have to move the crickets from here to the crate. There is no other way. However, I will follow in the coming time.
Let's see how
it goes. I've been filming this cage for 32 days. And this cage is about 22 degrees. 15 minus 26 days of age. It's also starting to eat hard. You won't see here the brand down here. It's down here. This cricket's cage is also
This
not
bar
inferior.
was
attacked once by ants. He eats a lot of crickets. But it's still crowded. Like that, as you can see, it's grown in the thing that's about. Hold your head very well. This small space is very easy to control. The amount of food as well as drinking water. Then the risk problems happen. We're very easy to handle. In a few days, when the wings begin to fly, I'll make another video. I'll show you. Generally speaking, I'll shoot this cage from when it's new. It's been a few days until now. It lays eggs. I'll show you the egg so that you can see that process of growing in a foam container. How simple is it? And what to note? It's coming. Like I told you the other day, I'm going to feed you. It's about 5 styrofoam with 5 barrels, different kinds of food, and the care is different. Let me test it. Food and drink like that. The time of its growth raw as SAO, and I will write it down to come up with a standard recipe. Let's feed it from your big box. This small container is only for testing. Then we've only been talking for 10 minutes. But what you see is, he's eaten quite a lot. There's cassava here, guys. I'll put it back in a minute. Hum this stage. Put cassava leaves in 10 to 15 minutes, and they're gone. It's gone for an hour. And you don't replenish it. It's still running the fence like it's hungry for food. This leads to a condition where you're vulnerable to deficiency. The cricket will not reach the wings. Then you have to pay attention to the problem. Yes, there are many places. Just tell me you've got Chang's medical procedure. Chang as your guide, but I don't know why he kept it under the wing. If it dies under the wings, that's because of the lack of vegetables. With this amount of food, for example, you have to know that raising 10 cages, you probably have to plant some at least as well. 2 poles. Cassava leaves are only grown cassava leaves. Is the amount of cassava leaves how much it eats. It's 10 to 30, guys. 10 to 30. He ate it all before I added this. About 30 minutes ago, that's its power, you see. It was about 8:00 a.m. I'll show you the video at 8 o'clock. It's 10:30 now. It's about 2.5 hours. It's almost over, guys. This place is new to me. I just put this place in. What's left is the leaves. It's almost eaten up. And the one, this stick. Here, you can see it's white and slippery. And it's not all full of you. And it's still eating. Thanks again. I just poured it in. After that, he still eats. At this stage, it eats. It's terrible. He eats rai all day. The morning is kind of. If it is healthy, it will eat. First, it's all over. Which crickets are weaker? If he is more shy, he will start eating next time. So we see A. What is the situation? We're going to have a refill, guys. Like this, I will continue to add vegetables, and the bran is fine. Feed again this afternoon. If you come here, you can. Withdraw experience. We're looking at the barn to see how the crickets eat. What is the difference between eating crickets and the habit? As we take care of crickets from small to large, that's what his eating habits are. In waves and waves, or it's up the fence. It's done. Well, we adjust the amount of food. Make it reasonable. If there are many cages, it eats everything. You are it. When he was resting, he didn't even eat. If you put it in, it will ignore some cages. Usually, it's very regular. It's equally healthy. The uniform rate is high. He ate it once. That's how much food we have to feed. And it's been eating for about an hour. As for those cages, we don't need to replenish food later. But 4 cages like this, that is, its uniformity is also a no-no. If not, we have to be. Add more food after about 2 hours. Let's see how we add more. I'll add more to it now, guys. new cassava leaves in here, guys. I keep filling up like this. By the end of the day, it should have eaten about 2. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's over around 2:00 in the morning. Well, 3. This idle period, we have to put a lot of food in. Let it grow fast. If you feed less, it will grow slowly. Then, the big time, it's the time I raised it lasted. This part he eats well. You can provide enough food. Then it'll shorten our farming time. As for the amount of food, give less. Then you extend the day out. In addition, it's equal to the categories. The type of food we give a lot. To give it enough substance and enough food. If it's large, calculate the amount of food in short.